All right, so I'm all fired up about the Jalen and the media stuff. So let's get into the forgiveness first before we do today's This Day. And today, on the final day, this is probably going to be the toughest one for all of us to do, but it's the Super Bowl, so we have to do it. Today, we're going to forgive sports media, both nationally and locally here in Philadelphia. And let's start with the national media. There's a hate. There's a bias against the Eagles, and a lot of times Philly teams in general. The Sixers, probably rightfully so, but they get hate. The Phillies get hate. It's just, I don't get it, and I'm not sure why. I think it's a lazy narrative. I think it's an uneducated narrative. And specifically with Jalen, I mean, look at Cam. Obviously, he didn't do his research. He's just spitting out hot takes for the sake of spitting out hot takes. But it's lazy. It's absolutely lazy. And especially when it comes to the Philadelphia fans. They're way harder on Philly fans than they are any other fan base. You got people out in LA at a Dodgers-Giants game that are getting stabbed. But I'm not condoning what this guy did. But the big story was, look at this scumbag Eagles fan who used the C word against a Packers fan. We're not stabbing people after a game because our team lost, but you don't hear that because it's not cool. I told you yesterday about the Buffalo Bills Mafia gets all this love for contributing to charities. The Eagles doubled Tailgate Tom or whatever, I forget his name now, but the dude from Washington, they doubled the money he raised in his fundraiser. You don't hear about that. You just hear about, an Eagles fan took a Commanders guy hat walking out of the stadium that the Commanders fan was actually laughing about. I've seen that happen a lot of times. It's all in good fun, but you don't hear the fundraiser thing. And then, of course, it all goes back to the low-hanging fruit. Well, you threw snowballs and booed Santa. Guess what? That happened 50-some years ago, and that guy totally deserved to get booed. He said he'd boo himself, and it was, again, all in good fun. But Howard Cosell, a national media guy, saw an opportunity to shit on Philly, and here we are. Well, you had a jail at the vet. Okay. Our fans act bad or have bad behavior sometimes. So does every other fan base. I see videos coming out of Dallas with Cowboys fans beating the crap out of opposing fans. So don't give me that. It's low-hanging fruit, it's uneducated, and it's lazy. And now for the local media. This is a tough one for me because obviously I'm kind of indirectly in the media in the local level here and looking to get into the more mainstream local media. However, you got guys like Marcus Hayes who try to make the story about them. You got the whole Joel Embiid thing. He was very outspoken about the A.J. Brown thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. They force stories. They try to force narratives. They're tough on the players, and I will give local Philly media this as credit. They do hold players and teams accountable. But I think sometimes we're so ingrained, and I talk about the old Philly mentality so much, we're so ingrained with that old Philly mentality that we need to shift the gear and appreciate what we have, a.k.a. Jalen Hurts. Appreciate the fact that this dude's a winner. And then on the radio, I think a lot of times people get caught up in those people that call. And if you ever listen to any of the shows, it's 90% of the callers are the same callers every day. They're like characters. It's a shtick. It's a bit. And they don't make up, their views don't make up the majority of what Philly fans feel. I mean, I would love to call into the radio station, but I don't have the time or energy to do it. I would love to refute some of the things that those people say, but it's not good for ratings. And again, the whole A.J. Brown thing last year, like I thought it was great that A.J. called in and laid it out on the line and said, this is all BS. Here's how I feel. I ain't going nowhere. I don't want to go anywhere. So I think sometimes people take whatever you hear on Philly Sports Radio as gospel and the true opinion of what 90% of the takes on there I don't agree with. Like I'm like gripping the steering wheel when I'm listening because it makes me so angry. And then, of course, we forgave Angelo for this, but the stupid Dirty 30 bit when they went up and booed McNabb really impacted and affected, and we forgave Donovan for not getting over it too. But, like, these are the things that happen. And I get it because it's all about ratings. It's all about likes and subscriptions and all of that. Trust me, I get it every day. And it's hard. I could come in here all the time and just rant, rave, scream, and probably get more likes. But for me, I believe in what I do, and like I'm trying to do it the right way. And again, there's a difference between being too tough and over the line. And I think a lot of times with the local media, they walk that line and go on either side of it very freely. And it is. But now that I'm all fired up, my blood pressure's probably through the roof between the Jalen stuff and now this. We have a Super Bowl to go out and win. And we've been forgiving those who have trespassed against us the entire month of January. It's time we forgive the media, both nationally and locally. Because you know what? Just because they say something doesn't mean it's true. Just because Cam Newton says Jalen Hurts was in the AFC, he wouldn't be as good, does not mean it's true. I think it's time we all just start thinking more independently, having our own thoughts, and go from there. So local media, I forgive you. National media, despite how lazy and uneducated your takes are, I forgive you. I feel better this whole month. I feel like giant weights have been lifted off of my shoulder. Thank you for your support throughout this month. It's been fun. It's been great going through, forgiving, and it's been bringing us good luck. So the last one here, I saved the biggest one for last. Let's go out there. We have good karma now. Let's go win the Super Bowl.